with the story how my grandfather met Master. Okay, so that is the starting of the journey for this house and the family in Kriyapa. So I'll start with that story. So my grandfather was a very good athlete. He used to play field hockey, okay, not the ice hockey, field hockey. And he used to play for a very good professional clubs and also he used to do his running, stretching, all these things in the morning. Okay, so there's a space which is like a good amount of grassland which is very near to this place opposite to Master's house. He used to go there and run, do his stuff there, and he used to go very early morning, like 4:30, 5:30 in the morning, and he used to finish his stuff. And one day he saw a very little skinny boy sitting under a tree and looking at him, like staring at him. And if he is running, anybody running, you will notice, like, you will get your mind disturbed if somebody is staring at you. And so that kind of disturbance he was having in his mind. So he was like a little bit not upset, but very curious to know why somebody with a very little boy with a very skinny figure looking at him like that. And he came to that boy and asked, like, why you are staring at me? So Guru just stood up and said, like, you think you are a good runner? And it was like an instant challenge to my grandfather's ego. And he said, like, yes, I play for this and that. He started giving his background about sports. So he said, like, can you beat me? He said, you don't look like, you don't have muscles, you don't have, you're nothing like an athlete, you don't look like an athlete. And so why don't you try for first time? Let's do it. And Master was very mild and my grandfather was like completely shocked. Like, what is this all about? Like, why he's challenging me? Then they started running. And my grandfather came almost like 4 meters behind Master. And he was like shocked. Like, how that guy can beat me? He's nowhere near any athleticism or doesn't have the fitness to run also. He runs with a long strategy and all these things. It must be a fluke. Let's do it once more. Master said, let's do it once more. This time it was 10 meters. So they did it several times because my grandfather's egos was like not getting in that level and he was so shocked about that, and he's doing it for more than 10 years and this guy is just 14 years, 15 years, a teenager guy, and asking him to, like, challenging him and all. So then he asked me how you are doing it, and it was a very, what I can say, it's nothing to do with any spiritual thing. He was asking as if he wants to know how you can beat me. And Master replied, if you really want to know, come to 4 Gorpa Road tomorrow morning 4:30. I will tell you. And since that day, they become friends. And my grandfather's, my Guru called grandfather like a tulsi da. Da is elder brother. Since that day, they were like friends forever. Okay, so that is how they connected with each other. And there's a little background to it. So later point of time, Tulsi asked, like, why you picked me? Because so many people around you and you could pick anybody. He said, like, I prayed to Mother, Divine Mother, because Guru was very devoted to Divine Mother. And then he realized that Divine Mother is giving that kind of signal to him that the guy whom you were looking for, and Guru was looking for a very secluded place because his house was full with relatives and his brothers and sisters, and there was no quiet place at his house that time. Because if you just imagine full Gorpa Road with all of his brothers and sisters running around. Okay, so he was looking for a very quiet place and a friend whom he can pursue with his search for God. So Divine Mother said, like, you go to that field to that particular place, you will find your person. So that's how they met. So that is how Guru then came to this house. Harinarayan Bose, Tulsi's father, this is his picture. He was a great painter who paints this Krishna. So he was a principal of Calcutta Art College. So he used to give trainings to young Britishers who used to come from UK, and he used to teach them the Calcutta. So that time all the Calcutta colleges and universities, especially with arts, was almost like 50-50 Indians and British people. So that's how the officers living here, they used to go, they used to send their kids there to learn the art. So he was there as a principal there, and he was very rich because he used to sell his painting and all these things. So one day he brought, that time Guru's name was Mukunda. So he asked Harinarayan Bose, like, can I come to this house often? Then Harinarayan Bose was like a little bit of skeptical, like why this guy wants to come often? What is the reason for that? So because Tulsi was his only one son, and he was too much in meditations, and he felt like boy will run away to Himalaya. And if you have studied yoga, you know how much keenness was there within master to run away from the house. So he knew that this guy is like not a stable guy who will be like he can take his son away. So he was like pretty much that's an Indian father mentality. So he said like, okay, in one condition I can give you, the Tulsi should not leave this house. Then master said, he will never leave this house, he will have his family also. Are you happy? Then he was so happy. He was so happy. He gave the backyard of this house, now it is YSS Ashram, to Guru. This room was completely dedicated to the boys. They can come here and they can do anything, and there was a separate entrance to this room. So they don't have to come throughout the other side of the house, they don't have to disturb anybody. They can come and do whatever they could do here. So slowly, masters attracted other souls like Kevalanandaji, his Sanskrit teacher, then Jatin, all this Nagendas and all these boy friends, they started gathering into this room. So you imagine, this is the room where everything started for master. This is the seed. This is the seed. We call it like Bij Mantra. This is the place where everything started. Even when he never knew what is Kriya. So that time it was all started here. So this is about the room, and I'll give you some of the stories. So one day, it's a pretty funny, but it's very spiritually uplifting also. So one day, Kevalanandaji, master and Tulsi was here in the same room where all of us are sitting. They were doing the meditations, and they came pretty early in the morning, and they were even afternoon, like Tulsi's mother was a little bit reluctant to see, like they're not coming out of the room. It's almost 5-6 hours now, and the mother instinct, like boys should be fed after every 5 hours or 4 hours. So she thought like she will bring some food for the guys and all. So she actually came from that door. She, without knocking, she just entered and saw the ground and she went back and said nobody was here. Then she asked her husband where the boys are. Like, I didn't see them. And suddenly she came back and saw 3 people are floating around. So she closed the door and she understood what the boys are up to. So that was one of the story that every time I've heard from many people, and from my grandmother and my grandparents also. So this is one of the stories. Like another stories that I'll tell you. You know, there is a place in the upstairs. If you see the attic where it is the meditation room, and why the meditation room, if you see, are narrow and not so wide, it doesn't allow you many people to get in and all. So there is a reason for it. So your aura gets stuck into some small space, and only meditations you can do it in a very isolated way, so that you can do your proper kriya and all. So that is the reason why it was built like that. And one day, this time Tulsi was like there, and Master and Tulsi both were doing the meditation. And again, the mother wanted to come out of the room and wanted to see things around and all. And Tulsi and Master was sitting just outside of that attic room, outside of the door, and they were sitting on the ground and doing the meditations. All of a sudden, they saw the Kundalini was coming out from both of their spines, and it was all high. And Tulsi's mother faint, because after seeing that, you cannot hold your emotions and everything. So she fell down. I don't know whether she broke anything, but she fell down very hard. And it was like, with that sound, Master actually got up from the meditations, and slowly he got her back to the room, and he was being, and he was very, like, Master was very much, like once my grandfather, father used to tell, like, Master was like, used to bless people when they are ill, and with certain kriya, so that the particular person will be all right in few seconds. So Tulsi's mother never felt the pain of falling down, and also he immediately healed her, and she was like nicely kept after that. And this is one of the story that very important. If you go to the attic room, and there was some, you can feel the energy there in that attic room, because it has been powered by so many great saints. It has been so many times. So I'll give you some of the stories which Harinarayan Bose experienced. So Harinarayan Bose used to paint, and he used to study in the same college where Swami Vivekananda used to study. It is Scottish Church College, okay, which is very near from here. It's like a couple of kilometers or 3 kilometers from here. So that time he was known as Naren. So Naren used to come to this house often, just to wanted to see how he's painting and all these things. So Swami Vivekananda used to come to this house when he was just a student. Harinarayan was his classmate. Same, they used to study in the same class. So they used to come here often. And one day, it was, I think, it was around 1912, 1913, and that time Harinarayan Bose was very much eager to know who is Divine Kali, who is Krishna. Okay? Because Harinarayan Bose used to deal with Britishers so much, and so he was more like those days, the Indians who used to have that Western culture, they used to call them like Sahib. Okay, so that is a terminology that every Indians, they used to have that. So like a sir. Okay, so that's just like a sir. So he had a lot of Western culture in his head, because he's dealing with British every day. So he wanted to have some kind of understanding of who is this Divine Kali and who is this Divine Krishna or whoever. So he asked it to Mukunda. That time Mukunda was actually doing kriya. He was living with Kevalananda, his guru, in Srirampur, whenever they used to come, he used to ask, Mukunda, can you show me who is Krishna? He said, all right. So he meditated with Harinarayan Bose for a few hours. And he said they started meditating in the night. So he said in the early morning, you will have the vision of Krishna. So then you can paint him. Because that is the painting, that is the history of this painting. That is how Harinarayan Bose visualized Krishna after the meditation with Master. So I'll take you to some of the stories in 1935 when Master came back to India with Mr. Wright, and you can see the photos there. There's one, there were some other photos also. You have to see where they are kept. So there are some. So that is Durga Mata cutting in this. That's sort of Durga Mata. And that is the courtyard. The behind. This is it.
All right.
Yeah, behind the house. So in 1935, when the Master came, after traveling, he was there for a few months in Calcutta, and they started staying in the same room. If you go to the 2-room upstairs, you will see 2 beds. Both have a history. So one bed, which was in top of this room, which is there for long period, like from Tulsi's childhood. Okay, and other side where you see the small size bed, that came from Srirampur. Swami Sri sent that. So how, why he sent that bed? He has to send that bed from Srirampur to Calcutta. So Master, when he came in 1935, people, the Calcutta people and the people around India, they were so happy to see Master. And in India, we show our love through offering you food. So you cannot say no to that. It's love. Even it's chili. So they offered whatever they could to Master, and Master never said no to anybody. Okay? And he gained 36 pounds. That's what everybody say. In a few months' time, and they could not sleep on the same bed. Tulsi and Master, they cannot sleep in that bed. Both are like a little bit large. So immediately, Sri heard that story, and he said, I'm sending today. So he sent his bed to this house, so that Master can sleep in one bed without fighting. So in that 1935, that time Prakash Das, Atmananda ji was there, and Master was not a tall guy, he was a short guy, and that time, those days, they used to keep things under the bed. So they will be elevate the bed with some bricks or something. So the height of the bed will be a little bit higher. So Master will be calling Prakash Das. So he says, hey, Atmananda, lie down. So he will put his feet on his belly and he'll get up. So next morning, Atmananda ji, before sun rises, he was lying there. Because Master if he needs him to climb down, right? So Master, he was lying down in that beside that bed so that he can serve Master. That is the love for his Master. So Atmananda ji came to this house when he was 10 years old, and he later on became a surgeon in medicine. He did his medicine, and then he became the first YSS president. So, and he left his body just here. Here is the room where he left it. He wanted to, so he was there in Ranchi, in his early days, like those days, like when he realized that he will be leaving his body, he said like, I don't want to come back to Calcutta, and he stayed in this room. So he wanted to pass away in this room. So for him, this room was very special because he understood like everything started from this. So the power of this room will pull him to that level after he passed away. So that is one. And let me tell you about some of the artifacts you have already seen. I'll start with the trident. Okay. Again, thanks to British. I'm not sure if any Britishers is here. No. No, it's a thanks to them. We got that trident. So when Master was about to leave for US, he wanted to carry that trident because it came from Babaji to Lari Masters, then to Sri Jigiri, and Sri Jigiri to Master. So all the Guru have given that trident to their best student. So like that, the trident was traveling, okay, and he was so much love with that trident because it was a gift from his Guru. He wanted to take it to US. He went to the Mumbai port to get into that ship. British said like, no, it is a weapon. We will not allow you to carry this. So that time Vishnu was there, Vishnu Charan, his brother. He said, give this to Tulsida when you go back to Calcutta. So most of the artifacts that you see here, we have only few now in the house. Most of them are in Pune Ashram and Delhi Ashram. Some are there in Delhi Ashram. So after my mother passed away, when my dad also passed away in 2008, that time Swamiji and myself, we decided like, I was not living in this house, so it was like my mother used to live here. So just to make sure that all these artifacts are kept nicely and protected. So Swamiji wanted to have them in other places so that people can see. So I think there is a project that Jamal is working on to bring them back here, keeping it like a museum and all. So that is something that they are working on. Ananda they are working on that. So this is one of the things that trident is not a trident. So it gives you three knowledges, like three knowledges about the karma, knowledge and willpower. These are the three things that you can get from the trident. So it is an instrument that they use.
Can you say it one more time?
So you see the three heads, right? So karma, knowledge, the jnana, and the actual willpower, your prana. So these are the three things that you get from the power of the trident. So your will. So if you pray to that, so Shiva has three. You'll see the three things that signifies of that. So Shiva has the power of that. So he is to kill. Shiva is to kill evil with that power, not like actually what you see in the mythology. So he will kill your badness or the evilness in your mind, not the actual person. So there is one more very important artifact that we got from Sri Krishna Jigiri that came from Kararashram when he passed away in 1936, I believe. 35? 36, right. So when he passed away, so that time there was a, I don't know who has seen that, it is a conch, big size conch, very big size conch. He used to use that for checking his devotees awe and key sound. It is not for blowing. It is an instrument for him to check your sound. So I have seen that when my grandfather was here, he will be, so there will be a lot of devotees coming to this house to talk to him and to test their kriya, the techniques and all these things. So he'll be using that particular conch to check their sound, whether it is correct or not.
Use a conch.
You have to do the awe and E into that. You have to blow that
Oh, the person. Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So that will, the sound will tell them whether that is correct or not. So that is something like one of the greatest. Swamiji used it many times for checking his own sound. So whenever he used to visit this house, we used to have those things here. So he used to use that sponge to check. My dad and Swamiji was like another beloved friends. They used to stay together most of the time. So whenever Swami will be writing any books, he will be calling my dad. Like that time 10 by 8 in Gurugram was just, they had that place. My father used to go there and see all his writings, and they will be discussing certain things. I remember one important, when the Rubiyat Khayyam book was getting written, so my father was there for many months with him. And I was there just because Swami wanted to have me there for a few days and all. So I was there, and we used to, that time the house was not like built for staying. It was more or less like you have to get your own, bring your own rack, sleep anywhere you want. And that time Leela was there. She was the cook for Swami. She used to give us some menu, but she will be serving the same menu every day. But the menu will be changed next morning. So that's how we will be there, and it was a great fun. So that time he said there was one more important thing that the Guru brought for this house was the rope that Sri Yukteswar Ji Giri used to have. It is just like a rope. He used to count, like there was some, what I can say, there was some beads, knots and beads. So we'll put that kind of, it is almost like that, but not like the Daksh. It is a rope with some knots and some other stuff. Some piece of it was brought to this house, and now it has been kept in Pune. I really want a funny story. The way Dharmadas took this, that same thing, to Pune from Calcutta. So when my father passed away, Swamiji immediately called me. They said, like, these are the things that I want to bring it to Pune or where I am staying. So this is all there in his room in Pune. So it was a small piece of kind of a glass. I think it's just a placeholder, and it is a small piece of that rope. And he actually put it in here and tape it all around so that it does not touch the ground. And that's how he took that to Pune from Calcutta. Because Swami said it should not touch the ground. So that time Vidula and Dharmadas, they both came to this house, and Dharmadas was big fella, so he managed those thing in his body. So he taped it around and he took it, and we wear a nice dress on top of it. So that was one other thing. And we had, so I'll tell you some of the stories of Ananda Mahima. So Ananda Mahima, whenever he used to come to this area in Calcutta, he used to stay in this house. Okay, so we had a lot of things like towels that she used, the spoons she used, things that she used. Those are things we have given to Ananda. It has been there. So she was like one of the, she was more like a friend to our family rather than Ma. So she was more, because she always felt Guru as his father. Always felt that connection, so always called Baba. He never used to say Yogananda Ji or something. She always says like Baba to Master, like that's how she will be referring Guru. And whenever she will be coming here, my grandfather, they will be doing meditations together in the upstairs. And again, mother, I met her in the 80s, late 70s and 80s in Varanasi. So my father was staying with her in Vindhyachal ashram for many years, like more than 15 years or so. They were there, and he was there with a lot of YSS devotees, that time SRF devotees like Sela Sutta, Durga Mata, Daya Mata, all these people, they used to go there and stay with her. And Swamiji was there as well, and he never wanted to, like Ananda never wanted to leave her, never. And mother have to push him so that he could do his karma, what he has done. He has to create this Ananda. So that's why she pushed her. So Dhyana was telling me about that story she heard from Swamiji, that when mother asked him to leave the ashram, and Swamiji was thinking in the back of his mind, like whether he will get the train or whether how he will be traveling and all. When he reached the station, the train was just there. So mother makes sure that, okay, this guy is getting into the train.
Very sure.
That's how the mother works. They want to make sure the children are following. So she will do whatever she could to make the train there. So I heard a few stories about mother from her direct disciples. One of the ladies was there in that Varanasi ashram. They have to keep all the devotees. They have to keep nets around that. If you have been to the Varanasi ashram, or if you are going now, so you will see the where the room, the actual they have made it like a temple now, where she used to, and where she was using a room for sleeping and other purpose, that is different. Okay, so she was meeting all her devotees from that room itself. So while talking to the devotees, she will meditate and float around like a fish, as if she's a fish in that Ganges. They have to put net so that her body do not go out. And all the ladies, they have to stand like this. So that is how she was. She will be in and out of samadhi while talking. So no wonder why Swamiji or my dad never wanted to leave her. So when I was there in 80, and I was a little kid with my dad, and I was standing very back side, and everybody was sitting there, and Ma was giving Satsang to them, and he raised her hand, told my dad to wait, just like this. So we waited. And then she called me, and it was the first time I was meeting her, and she held my hair, and she scrambled those hairs, hair and everything, and she said, like, whatever you got, do it, do not leave. And that too in a Bengali way. So it was like more like she was like a grandparent to me, and it was like she squeezed me very hard, and she looks very thin, but she was like very strong, very strong. So there is a story. I don't know whether you know Bhaktan. He's one of the devotee living in US now. He's a German guy. He used to live in Assisi before. Now he has moved to US, I believe. So one day I was actually traveling just like you guys with another group, and we were in Varanasi, and Bhaktan and myself were a room partner, so we were sharing the same room in the hotel. So one night we decided, like, we'll challenge master, let's do that. So we said, like, whatever we will be wishing together, okay, it has to happen. It has to happen, otherwise nothing doing. We'll not take things back. Okay, so we decided in the early morning during our meditations what we are wishing for. So we said, like, we'll be meditating in mother's room for many hours. We want to do that. and after that we will decide what we want. So that was the first thing that we were wishing for. Because why we wish for that? Because in mother's room where she used to be stay and sleep, that room generally get locked. Okay, so they only allow for 1 hour or so, just to peep, not to go there inside, nothing. You cannot go inside or sit. You can sit there and you can come. You have to come out within 1 hour. Okay, so Bhaktan, he is German, but he was a little guy. Okay, not huge, not like a proper one. so what we did was like that time in the 9ish time we went to that ashram. We did the pranam in the main temple and we went to that room. That time it was open and we sat behind her bed. And only our forehead was above that. So we were like squeezing in a corner and we were doing our meditations. And we don't know what happened. So we got deep into our meditations, we don't know anything. So after many hours, so from 9, and they generally open that room again in the evening time, it will be around 5ish time, 4:30 to 5 time, that they will begin opening that room. So the caretaker of that room, she started shouting because now she has realized that a couple of guys are sitting there. So we are there from 9 morning and it was like 5. So we didn't know what happened. They called the security, how that guy got in. We just raised, did pranam and we came out. So that was the experience that I had. And after coming out of the house, Bhaktan and myself, we said, now we want to see a book written by Swamiji. Okay, we started walking in the main street and suddenly we saw a bookstore. And there you go, the path. Then Shivani was leading that group. Shivani, Arjuna, Mark, Kirtani, they were leading that group. And they told us before we said like we are taking off from the regular thing and all. So they excused us. They said like you guys need to be there in Dashashwamedh Ghat before the Aarti starts, the Ganga Aarti starts. So we were actually late. And when we reached there, and we were like 10 minutes, 15 minutes late. And when we reached there, we saw that Aarti is still about to start. And Shivani was looking for us, and Shivani, we said like, it's not yet started. So that's how we fulfilled our wish with our prayers. So if you have your wishes which are connected to Guru and God, it will certainly come true. He'll never fail you. So we gave him a very strong challenge. Nothing. So whatever we say, it has to be that. That's all. There is nothing here, nothing there. No plus minus 10%, 5%, nothing. That's it. What I want. So that's how we had that. Few more stories about the same. If you see the photo there, I'll tell you about the same story there. So there's a history. So this motorcycle was belonged to Tulsi. Okay, so Master used to ride with his boyhood friends. So what they used to do, they used to search for places where they can do meditation. They used to have their motorcycles in here. So they used to go to Dakhineshwar, they used to go to some secluded place in Calcutta, they will do the meditations there, they will find some old temples, all these things they will do with those days, like when they are like in teens. So that is one of the history of that photo. And here Tulsi's marriage took place, this open area if you see outside. And there's a photo of Tulsi and Yukteswar Ji came to. So this is one of the photo from his marriage. This is a photo from his marriage. And one of the experience that I had with Tulsi was like I got my Kriya from him when I was like 4.5. So he initiated me, and then I got all the details from many people like my father, Anandaji, Ramanandaji, all the Guru Bhais of my father. Whenever I had questions, Swamiji was one of the, I will say, another dictionary for me. So whenever I had any questions, I'll be asking him. So I was blessed with those people so that they can guide me in a proper way. So that was one thing. I was living in southern India for a long time. So I always wanted to come back to Calcutta, never wanted to get out of this. So Swami said you cannot hold it back, you have to go out. And he said, am I going to come back? He said, I don't know that. So I was very skeptical in taking up jobs, and also when I came back to Calcutta in 1922, 2022, I was so happy. So again, I can visit here and I can see I was missing this house for a long time. This whole house is like an instrument for yoga. This is how I have learned. This is every corner of this room and this house is the instrument for yoga. The artifacts that we have in this house, which will only uplift your soul. The beds that you see, these beds are not normal beds, I will say, because they have been infused with those souls, like people like Master and all. They used to stay there, do their meditation on those. So everybody who comes from Ananda or from other places, they generally use that bed for their meditations. So that's all from my side.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
I'm so glad that you guys can come here